The Black Fat Femme podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and Doctor Jon Paul, LLC. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Fat Femme podcast where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I am one of your hosts, John, also known as Doctor Jon Paul, and whoa, I got my boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Hit me one time. Where them fans at? I am fresh out of the airport, back from Portland, and I'm mad that none of you niggas told me how cold it was there. My God, I got in my Uber and I said, why does it feel like Kansas out here?
Not Kansas.
It's cold.
Not Kansas.
Like it was like I genuinely was not expecting. Like I got out there thinking it was gonna be LA cold. You know, LA cold is like you could throw on like
Yes.
a top, a jacket, or something, and you'll be okay.
Mhm.
No, it was cold. It was cold. But anyway, I leave for New York tomorrow, and so yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and throw on that peacoat. Yeah.
I did hear that it is. Yesterday, I heard it was a beautiful day yesterday in New York, so it might be nice spring weather there. Portland,
It's
sometimes
supposed to rain.
JK, get yourself a nice little raincoat and some boots, baby. Okay, some
She
good
said,
boots.
"Yeah, that's why I said I got my boots on the ground because
Okay.
where my coats at? What is it? What is it? The underwear? What do people wear under their clothes when they cold? What are they called?
Thermals.
Yeah, where my thermals at? Hit me one time. Oh my God! But anyway, how are you, Queen Joho?
Girl.
Yeah, well.
The girl heard around the world. Fam,
Yeah.
it's Jordan, aka no, it's Joho, aka Jordan. Oh, how I say my name, girl? I am the
girl heard around the world.
girl. I am the other woman in this co-hosting duo, and I must tell y'all, I'll save it more for my no Mam Pam.
Please,
But
yeah.
I just have to say, furniture pieces that come from certain places. I won't name them because
we can't name them. Yeah,
I bet you could be sponsored at some point in time.
T.
But it should not take 2 hours to put together a nightstand.
Blue and yellow.
It should not be this hard. Like, it could all be so simple.
Meatballs.
Should make it hard, bitch. What the fuck? Why am I doing 39 dowels for this one little thing? It made no type of, and the shit don't unlock. Girl, I just got trouble. I got problems. I got headaches. Honestly, I'm about to sue.
And if it is the place I'm thinking about, all their pieces are always really fucking small.
Oh my God, it's a mess. But you know what? Besides that, y'all, I am happy to be here, happy to be queer. And today, my friends, we are flipping the script a bit. So it's just the two of us today. I'm putting John in the hot seat because Miss Thing just dropped a book, bitch. Okay.
My booty is burning.
Booty is burning. It's going to be a spicy episode today. I'm going to be interviewing this authoress. We're talking about authentic storytelling, y'all.
Wait, pause. So wait, before I'm about to break the third wall. I'm laughing because I'm watching this text message thread between us and our producer, and one of our producers said, "Of course, no worries." And Joho just put, "Sisters, it's all worries over here."
It's all worries over here, baby. It's all worries all the time. Truly.
I'm screaming. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to break that third wall.
When someone says no worries, I'm always like, baby, it's all worries.
Actually,
unfortunately,
yes, we all should
Sunday,
be
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's all
every
worries,
goddamn
baby.
day we are worried because this shit is nuts.
It's nuts.
Yes, but go off. I'm sorry. I just had to break the third wall and do that.
Like we always do by honoring our girl, Miss Tish Kim, in our Still Here segment. I want to start by asking you, John, to dig into some serious business and tell us, how did writing the book make you realize that you are still here?
Yeah, so all of this laughing and joy that y'all are getting on this episode is I'm pretty sure it's delirious because a bitch is so goddamn tired. But no, I'm really first off, before I jump into to answer your question, first off, thank you because you know how I am and you know how I've been about this whole book thing, right? I've been really intentional about trying not to make it about me and really making it about who and like basically who I wrote it for, right? So to everybody who has, one who has been listening to the show, and then two to everyone who has been really supportive of the book and uplifting both, me and Jordan's journey, and then also my journey with this book. Thank you. I genuinely wanted to first say thank you to all of our listeners. A lot of y'all have reached out to me and said that you've gotten the book, you've gotten the audiobook. Some of you have said you got both. It's been almost like TBH. It's been almost a little overwhelming um how everyone has responded, but it's a good overwhelming. It's a really good feeling to know everyone sees me and supports me. And as the show title is, they are sisters. That's what I see the book as. I see the book as the sister to the show. We are telling more story. Like I broke off and I just said, I'm going to tell these specific stories about how they've impacted me in relation to the stories that we're telling on the show. So there's that. What I will say to your question, to answer your question, I think no one tells you when you write a book about how the process is going to be, and really how a lot of it is built in being a popularity contest. And I think that's everywhere.
Yeah.
Podcasting is a
Oof.
popularity contest. Writing a book is a popularity contest. Work is a popular. Anything you do is a one big popularity contest. So at the beginning of the process, I was sort of in my own head about this notion of, why do I need to write a book? Like, why is it so important that Dr. Jon Paul writes a book? You already have a podcast, you've already done all these things. Why write a book, right? And for a minute, I really had this feeling that wouldn't really go away. That even in the midst of me writing and putting this book out, that no one would care, right? It's this notion of my shine is not big enough to write a book that people will genuinely give a care about. And then when I really started, kind of thinking about it, and I'll say it really started the day of the release, right? These last couple of days have really helped me understand, wow, now I understand why I did it, why I needed to do it, why I was encouraged to do it. From messages that people have, said, oh, I've just got through Latrice's forward and I'm already in tears, right? Or I've gotten people who've said, I finished the book. It blows my mind that people have finished this book. And I'm not going to hold you and say that it's a really hard book to read. I intentionally did not write it from a scholarly angle.
Yeah, it's
It's a very easy read intentionally, so people can really just breeze through it, because I want them to feel like I'm just telling them a series of stories, right? So I did that intentionally. But I think the thing that has really reminded me the most, right, this notion of, I've always seen myself as just a highly educated baby kid from San Bernardino, right? And I've gone through a lot, and I've had friends reach out to me and say, wow, I had no idea you went through that much to get to where you are. But I'm so glad that you did, and I'm so glad that you're still here to tell it, because now you're encouraging other people who have gone through a lot of shit to let them know that they can. And so I say all of that to say, I'm still here in the sense that I truly believe what hasn't, like I always tell people, what you can't break what you didn't make. And I genuinely believe that life has really tried to break me in so many facets, and I'm constantly in this place of like, you didn't make me, so you can't break me. And I think that's why this book has really kind of put me in this place of still being here, and the notion of like, I it may not be the story you want to hear, but I'm still gonna tell it. This book may not be for you, and that's okay. You don't have to read it. But the reality is that
okay.
there are people who do need it, and I'm so happy I got to write it for them.
I love hearing that so much. And truly, the
Yeah.
book, I feel like the book is like the epitome of still here, right? Like, yes, it is a guide and a model for people to reveal the power of queer voices in media for themselves, but
Mhm.
also like a way for you to share how you're still here. I'm gonna read a quick quote that I really appreciate.
Not you putting the book on. You said, "Oh, I'm
Speak
gonna bring
us
it up."
to a
I know
prayer,
that's right.
baby.
Ew,
Okay,
yes.
put me on the view, baby. Put me on the view.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Like,
yes.
but for example, like, there's this quote in which chapter is this? It is on chapter 9. Which also I'll say, right, that so like on each chapter there's a little like word and definition, and this was visible, able to be seen. And that I think this to me like is actually kind of a point, like kind of like a big thread as to why you wrote this book, right? Because you say,
Yeah.
when I got old enough to understand what it was I was dealing with in terms of my own identity, I quickly learned how much media played into that. and decided that it would be up to me to use whatever platform I had to change it. Media shapes people's lives. It shapes people's narratives, but more than anything, it often helps people figure out who they are in a world where they are being told who they have to be. And like to me, like that to me, that to me, when I read that, but I was like, this is the entire thesis of this book because it's all
Yeah.
about right, like it's all about how we're shaped by what we see around us and how we have to have ownership over that because it
Right.
represents us. And so I just really
Mhm.
like, I love it so much. I love this. I love you. I love the book.
Thank you.
And I'm very excited for us to really talk more about it today,
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Now that Wiley got me out here dancing like Joe Jackson, we are going to take a break to pay these bills. And when we come back, we're going to have some more of the show. We'll be back in a sec.
And we are Black fam. As we dive into this conversation today in this book, I want to kick off the conversation by asking you, similar to the way I asked you in the Still Here section, what did you discover about yourself through writing this Sisters podcast, right? You're creating this
Mhm.
BFF universe here.
Yeah.
One might say next is a screens, darling. So what did you discover about yourself as you wrote
Amen.
the companion to the show?
Yeah, so they were sisters. That's what I just keep thinking about. So because
Yes.
that's what I've been telling people, because my feeling has been, I don't want people thinking that I wrote this book to overshadow the podcast. No, this was just like I said, this literally. So what a lot of people, I'm gonna give y'all some background. What a lot of people don't know is that the book was actually supposed to come before the podcast, truly.
Mm,
And so when I got tapped, or I should say we, right? I got tapped first. Obviously, I brought you into the fold. The idea of what this show was literally the idea that I had for the book. It just wasn't as fleshed out. And so now,
mm,
looking back at it, right? I started writing, and I've said this on so many different, in so many different ways. When I initially started the book process back in 20, I think it was 2016, 2017 is when I really started playing with the idea of writing the proposal. I
mm,
genuinely was in this headspace of, like I said earlier, I don't know what I want to write. I don't know what I have to say. And I'm grateful for this podcast because this podcast gave me a lot of um it gave me 3 years to flesh that out, right? Like we started in 2021, we're now in 2025. I wrote the book in 2024, so it gave me that time frame to really understand. Oh, well, we've been talking massively about the disillusion and the ways that the world is silencing Black queer voices. Now I can write about the folks who impacted me personally, right? And say that this book is just an extension. We can't reach out to Andre Leon. We can't reach out to Luther Vandross and talk to them. So now I can just talk about how they've impacted me. So that's kind of where the book
mm,
started, right? It was this notion of, now I have this place of, I want to talk about the people who've impacted me personally.
mm,
And if we ever do an extension where, Joho wants to go out and do Black Fat Femme and they want to do something on their end from Black Fat Femme, they can, right? Like
mm.
it really is this notion of we are creating a world. And so that was one of the things I think I started to figure out very early in this book writing process. But outside of that, I said, like Angela Bassett, we're doing the damn
We
thing.
did the
Like
thing. Yes. Angela
Angela
Bassett
Bassett did
did the
the thing. Like that
thing.
will always that will always live in me, right? But I feel like what I've really got out of this, right, is like I think at the end of the book, when I finally got to a place where it was like, okay, it's going to publishing, I started to really understand that a lot of what I've done throughout my whole entire life has been done out of spite. Like it's been done out of this notion of,
Mm,
I have to prove these niggas wrong. Like I have to
mm,
make sure, like my whole family was that way because and I say this, I talk about this in my book. Nobody in my family ever expected me to be Dr. John Paul, period. Right.
mm,
My mom
mhm,
did. My brother has always, encouraged me. My brother would always say, "You're going to be super successful. I just know it." Right.
mm,
So I had my mom and my brother in my corner, but the rest of my family, they thought I was going to be, I was always told the only thing you're gonna ever be able to do is own an ice cream truck, right? Like, and even at that time, right, you think, oh, being an ice cream truck driver is really sad. But when you really think about it, ice cream truck dealers are hustlers because they got their truck, they got their ice cream, they out there selling and making money on their own. So
mhm.
really, when you want to talk about it, they a business person, right?
Okay.
But that's a whole nother conversation for a different day. So, but initially, right before I wrote the book, I never thought I'd ever get to this place, and so now that I am in this place, I've kind of stopped thinking that I have to like do stuff to prove people wrong. Like I don't have to keep vowing or living
Mm.
and existing to be validated. Like I've spent my whole life working on this idea that I have to be bigger and better and that my lived experience has to be somehow more immaculate than what it is. And I'm okay now. Like I'm like,
Mhm.
John, you're good. Like you're fine. You've done a lot of the stuff that you have done, the accolades either are there or they are coming. And I
Accolades,
think that's
accolades,
the thing.
accolades.
Right. The accolades, like this, and I think about this a lot. I can say this is an award-winning podcast. Even if they
Mhm.
pull the plug, it is still an award-winning podcast,
How you doing?
regardless, right? And more awards are coming down the pipeline. We just got nominated for something a couple of weeks ago,
How
right?
you
That we're
doing?
currently working on.
Okay.
So we can't say it out loud yet, but
But
but it's there,
be on the
right?
lookout, be if you don't do that,
Hello.
okay.
Right. So we're nominated for stuff and stuff is coming down the pipeline. So I say all of that to say, I think, I think I'm okay. I don't need to keep trying to prove the terrible people in my life wrong. I don't need to prove my teachers
Mm.
wrong. I don't need to like Google me, bitch. Like I am
Her.
when you type up Jonathan P. Higgins, shit comes up. When you type Doctor Jon Paul, shit comes up. Like I don't owe anybody any more explanations as to
Mm.
my success. And I think that's the thing that this book finally kind of put the period on.
Uh,
So
I love that so much, and I love you explaining how the BFF universe is being made as well too. I'm gonna end up actually doing a BFF stand up show.
yeah.
I'm gonna be I'll be a 1 man comedian on the road.
I know that's right. Tell me where to be and where and when to
Never.
do it. Yeah,
I
I'm just
never.
saying though,
I'm
it's
always
real.
racially funny, but
Yeah.
but so thank you. So the
Yeah.
book has officially launched. We
Yeah.
had this amazing launch event at the Plus Bus Boutique in Los Angeles.
Amen. Amen.
You've put in all this work. I also say pictures coming soon, y'all. It's been a long fucking week, but pictures coming soon. Don't you worry. You put in
We got
all
you,
this
boo.
work to get it off
Yeah.
the ground. Now you're in the actual tour phase. What's going through your mind now at this part of the process?
Okay, this is the part where I was telling myself, "Bitch, you ain't gonna be crying on nobody's mic this week." I honestly, so I'll say this. I think Tuesday, and even since then, right? How loved I really am. And I think the emotions that are coming from that is from feelings that I've had prior to the book releasing. So I'll say this, like I often sit back and think about how much I do for others and how often I don't feel like it's returned. And that's no shade to nobody. I'm just saying I'm naturally a person who just I will go if you know me, I will go to the ends of the earth for you if you're good in my book. Right. No cost, no time, no day. I will do whatever I can to make sure that my people are good all the time. I think on that night I saw so many people come out and really like not only just love on me but love on us, right?
Mhm,
Like there is like a lot of the people who were there are fans of our podcast,
mhm,
right? People who have been on the show, people who have supported the show in certain ways, people who have done stuff for us at no cost for the show. Like there was just so many different people there, and it just showed me how loved I was. I think about my friend Tennessee who came to the event after a long day at work. They could have went
mhm,
home, right?
mhm,
Tennessee could have said, great job, John. Have a nice day. I'm out of here. I'm going home. But no, they came to the launch and then went home after, and I could see it in their face that they were so tired. But it was so much love for me. I think about XD, friend to the show who came after all he's dealing with in his life. He's been very transparent about what's going on in his life on his show.
mhm.
And the fact that he took time out of his schedule to come to the show, oh, I'm really trying my hardest not to cry. Um, Wow. Even our editor, Chris, what he's been dealing with in his life, and the fact that he made time to come, it meant like the fact that you drove from San Diego to be there for me, it just my God. And I have not had a chance to process this. And I told myself I was not gonna do this on the air. Um, it was just y'all being in the room with me on that day. And after months of me feeling like I was so alone in a lot of the stuff I was dealing with. And I looked around that room and I saw all those people who came out, who have supported me, who have uplifted me, who have continued to support me in moments when I feel like I didn't even have it to support myself. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry. You are fucking loved. It was, just so y'all know, it was standing room only in that bitch.
Woo!
It was standing room only. But John, like, I just want to say, as as a friend, as family, I know I talk about the idea of how hard it is to have community, but like the community for you showed out that
They
night.
did, and
Like
they
they
still do, and
and the,
they still are, and even the fact that, when I had very vocally it said online I didn't feel supported in my book tour, how people, like, literally rallied around me to make sure that I had the tour that I wanted. And I have friends asking me day in and day out, "What do you need? Do you need help? Do you need this? Do you need that?" And it's just, I really, I think about it, and I think the other hard part of it is, what was really hard about that day was a lot of, and I've mentioned this on the show before, my friend Carla passed away in 2022, and I've still been processing that, and I'm still having a very hard time with the fact that she's not here. And so having her, like, being able to honor her and knowing that I know that she was and she is and she's still so happy and so proud of me. My friend Matt, who also passed away from COVID, um, I feel like every day I get to honor them in some type of way. And it just, my best friend Loretta, who, passed away years ago, and I still call her my best friend because she will always be that to me. Um, and knowing I dedicated the book to them, and knowing that that day they were there, like, I could feel them in the room with me, and that they were so proud of me. And so it just I like I said, I've been dealing with a lot around community, and feeling isolated, and feeling like nobody sees me or understands me, or really,
mm,
fucks with my work the way that I wish it would be fucked with.
mm,
And that day really, 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 really affirmed me on so many different levels. So, and
mm,
like I said, I genuinely did not want to come on this episode and be crying all over the mic, but that's just how I feel. I feel so loved in this moment in a way that I don't think, and I think it's what's even more, oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna say this one thing, and then we're gonna have to move on. I keep thinking about how alone people feel
mm,
now with all that we're going through. And it's just, I'm just, how do I say this? I I wish that people knew how seen and supported they are, and that they, and knowing that the stuff that I do is like, I keep saying this, is not for me. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the notion that I want another queer person to see themselves and know how valued and how necessary they are, and how they're being, and how who they are when they come into a room, how it makes me, somebody like me, feel like, thank God you're still here. And so I think that's why I'm so emotional right now with this, is like, I appreciate people seeing me and reminding me that I'm still here, and I'm hoping that everything I'm doing can inspire, whether you're black, whether you're not, whatever the case may be. I'm really hoping that even this podcast, this episode where I'm crying as snotting all over the mic,
mm,
I'm hoping that it reminds someone that there is somebody who needs you here.
mm,
It may not be everybody, but we need you here, and we need you in community, and we need you to stay strong so we can get through these next 4 years, because it is going to be hard, and it's getting harder by the day, and we are only in, like, month 3.
mhm,
And I really hope someone hears this, and I hope someone reads the book, and I hope that they get that message at the end of it.
mm,
My God. But yeah,
mm.
so that was your answer to that.
Thank you so much for sharing that and being so
Yeah.
open and vulnerable with us. Shout out to me for being a good interviewer and asking that question. Go off, y'all. That's what interview 101 bitches, okay?
Yeah, I'm like, that's that journalism degree at work. My
No, but
God. Yeah.
truly, like, it was like, there's a moment where, there's a moment when, like, it was Heather, Chris, Francesca, James, not and myself, and I was like, "Oh my god, John really has people of all iterations of their life here right now, or of this past decade here in this room with them."
Yeah, yeah,
To witness them, and that was really special to be like, "Wow, John's built life with people who love them wholly and fully, right? And and will be here for anything." That was really special,
yeah,
really, really special to see. So I'm glad. I'm really happy to hear you acknowledge how loved you are because you are.
yeah.
Um, so your book is about revealing queer visibility in media, uncovering
Mhm.
the stories that have impacted you in life. Oh my god! Now you also you can say in your in your bio, I'm also in queer media. Uncovering the
T.
stories that impacted you in your life, and it focuses on sharing it in your way. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to ask you, because we talk about this so much on the show, but I want to hear from you. Why do you feel like it's important to tell your story authentically? What does it actually mean to you to tell your story authentically?
Yeah. So, I have had several people reach out to me and they just say, "Thank you for telling your story so authentically." And the reason why I was so hell bent on that, and that's why I will say this, like bullshit aside of the publishing game, there's a lot of stuff that goes into publishing a book. And I'm not gonna spend a lot of time like harping on that. I'm very grateful and thankful that Wiley let me tell my story the way I wanted to tell it. And I had people in the process that were kind of like, "Oh, I love what you're wanting to do, but can you do this? Oh, I love what you're wanting to do, but can you change that? Oh, I love what you're wanting to do, but if you do it this way, we'll buy your book," right? Wiley was never like that with me. Wiley basically saw my proposal. They saw what I wanted to do. They saw how I wanted to talk about it, and they said, "Do it." And so for that, I will always be grateful. Shout out to my editor over at Wiley, Laura. You both Lori and Gabby. Y'all both have been so amazing in terms of allowing me to be my authentic self throughout this process. What I will say is the reason why I was so hell-bent on, even when other places came to me and said, "Hey, we want to buy your book, but we want you to change this," and I said no, and I
Mm,
knew I was passing up an opportunity with a big publisher. um I wanted it to be this way because the world is hell-bent on silencing and eradicating our true stories. They want our stories with sugar. They want our stories with fluff. They want our stories with flowers. They want our stories with rainbows. When the world never gives us that, right? We never get a chance to say authentically what you did to me or what you said to me in this moment. This is how it impacted me, and that shit was fucked up, right? And that's, in so many words, I don't say it that way in the book, but that was the onus of what some of these chapters were. People said and did these really fucked up things to me, and I felt the need to highlight that because I see it happening to other people, both in and out of the media, right?
mhm,
And so I think, that I can't say that enough. Like, it's the way the world it's the way the world tried to silence me as a kid. It's the way that the world tried to silence me in college, how the world attempted to silence me in my career. It's always someone telling me to tone it down or to try to show up a bit more respectable or digestible. And this
mm,
book is a testament to saying, fuck these oppressive systems, right?
mhm,
Be who you want to be who you need to be for those
mm.
who need to see you. um and I mean, back to my original thought of why I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Like, the girls that get it, they get it, and the girls that don't, they don't.
Don't, okay?
Right? Like, I don't need to change for somebody to say, "Oh, I really love Dr. Jon Paul." No, see me in
Mm,
all of who I am, bitch. Like, don't. And I know I'm being real crass, and I'm cussing like a sailor because that's who I truly am. And I know I tend to not cuss that much on the mic, but I'm really passionate in this moment because I think, I'm talking about something that, on a grand scheme, it can be very much a press run of, "Oh, I did this because I really." No, I did it because I knew that there was nobody else doing it, right? And again,
mhm,
I don't want to, I don't want other authors catching strays in me talking about my work, right? But I'm
mm,
saying, like, I even get asked the question, "Well, why did you center fat in the middle of the black fat in the film?" Like, as much as I knew, like, and I'm gonna say this on air because I know some people were probably like, "Well, Black Fat Femme, that's a part of the podcast. Why didn't you include Joho in the book?" one, I didn't make that decision. So let's be clear here that when I went out to sell this book, the title of the book was not my decision. I had to go with what my editor wanted me to go with, and they thought it was a great idea to title the book Black Fat Femme. So let's start there. But I will also say that as much as I center Black Fat Femme as the title of this book, there is still a how do I say this? It was a very intentional move. It was I knew people were going to ask that question, but it also was I could not tell my story without centering something that has been so pivotal in my lived experience, right? And I felt like if we would have titled it anything else, it wouldn't have made sense. There was no way for me to write this book without centering the Black fat or the femme. And the fat, like I said, it was a political statement. I knew people were going to have an issue with me saying it's okay to say fat. It's okay for you to say Black Fat Femme in the title, right? Like I don't need to hide anything in this book. And so all that to be said, I think the short of it, the long short of it is it, I have no intention in dimming my light for anyone or anyone. And I don't believe that you do either. We don't. I'm encouraging people in this moment of their life to recognize that you have the right. If somebody says, you know what, your personality is too big, or you come in and you take up all the air out of the room. Well, get what do you call those things that you can breathe underwater?
A snorkel.
Get you a snorkel, girl. Get you some CO2, bitch. I'm not. If I take all the air up out of the room, then you need to learn how to breathe. Period. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it. And I think that's really what this book is. This book is telling other books that just center on Blackness or just center on queerness, that there is room for us to tell our stories the way we want to. Okay, so I feel like I've been talking a lot this segment. So I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, what went through your mind knowing that I asked you to read the first draft and being that you were the first person to read the first draft? How has being my ace in the process inspired you creatively?
Good question. First, let me just say, not people trying to make us ops. Like, not trying to make us ops for each other. That is crazy. Y'all, first of all, it will never happen. I will never be John's op.
No,
never be my op. Like, what? Also,
and I even want to say this, like, let's talk about it. Like, it could be, I want to be transparent. I even could play into that, right? We had something come through our email yesterday. I don't know if you saw the email, but what did I do in the email? Did you see the email that I sent to you?
Yes. And yeah, include me in the email. Like,
right.
I saw you in the email.
The person came to me and said, oh, I see your book and I see this about your podcast. I would love to have you on my show. And I said, okay, well, just no FYI, when I do anything about my show, my sis is with me. You'll never make us ops. There was never an intent for me to overshine my girl. Like I said, this book was in.
Yeah.
Like I had been creating this book since 2017. So let's talk about that. The reality of the matter is, though, that you're still here. You will never be in my shadow.
Like,
ever.
you know, and I will say, like, I have have also had some folks be like, why didn't John have you on the book? First of all, if you see in the acknowledgements page, I am actually, where am I? I'm actually right here in the first few pages. So cloth the gag, girl, because I actually am in the book. Second of all, if I want to write a book, I would write a book. Why? Because I'm sickening. Okay,
right?
Like, if I want to write a book, I write a book. I don't need to this is John's lane. I do not need to be, hey girl, I don't need to, like, hey girl, put me in passenger seat on this lane. Like, no, like John and I have a lane together in this show, and then John has a lane in this book, and like what friend and family would I be if I was like, how dare you not have me on this book, bitch? How dare you? Like, how dare you not not have me co-write something for you, girl? It's okay.
And it's to say like we can't co-write something in the future. Like I'm
like, this is their first book. You think book 3 might have me? Like,
right. I'm like we can co-write something.
Things are not one time only. Like, things,
right.
Like, we are growing as people in the world. Like, we are growing as people, and we will always grow as people. So I just want to name, like, I mean, for some folks, like, I appreciate y'all caring about us, maybe caring about me in this way and being like, "Oh, Joe, like, I appreciate people like want to see me shine, blah blah blah." I shine. Trust me, girl. I shine in other ways. Like I shine
T.
like in many ways, and I am like I am. It is a gift to support my sister shine. Like it is a
Mm-hmm.
gift to support my sister in this like, in her moment. Like when I see, and I just want to tell you, like when I see this book, to your point, right about having fat on the cover. If I saw this as a kid, my life would be so
Yeah.
different. Right? Like if
Yeah.
I saw Black Fat Femme as a kid, my life would be so different. And so, to your question, went through my mind when I actually read the first draft. I will say I was like, John, let me help you with this. My bag isn't editing. Please like I would love to read something if you want me to.
You
I
did.
was like,
I remember you
I was like,
saying
if you
that.
want me to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like and like, and I like John, you were like, "Girl, be honest with me. Give me give me all feedback,
Please.
right?"
Yes.
I was like, "Girl, I have some feedback." You said, "Oh shit, girl, it's gonna be bad." It actually was not bad at all. Like it was not bad at
No.
all.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think for me, it was so special. Like I feel being able to see someone's process, right? Like I read a lot of John's stories that they've written and published,
Mm-hmm.
on different publications, but seeing the story that they wrote for themselves and their own book is so different. So I think it was like and John and I talk a lot. We talk all the time, but this is a way into their life that I don't get to see, right? Because this is like you're forced to sit and write about this, so I have to like process and understand this. And I think it was so special to know how you inspire, right? Like when you've mentioned every person. Right on the show in this book, you mentioned every person that you wrote about on the show or in conversations we've had, and this book
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to really understand like why they were so important to you, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there are some things that you cannot get from like talking with someone that you have to get from their actual written word. And
Yeah.
so like seeing that was so amazing. I was honored that you asked me. I was excited because I was like, I felt so exclusive, y'all getting my first look for this book, and y'all bitches gotta wait until March for this.
Yeah.
I got PDF copy,
You got to
baby.
read it in September.
I
I
got
know that's
PDF,
right.
baby. Okay, I got
Yes. Yeah.
electronic files. So I think I was honored for it. It was exciting. Like I really like, and like like my lens of feedback is never about like this is trash. My lens of feedback is like, ooh, girl, like I want to hear more of this.
Yeah.
I think this could be more. I think you could shift this, and it was so to me it was a gift that John trusted me, that you trusted me enough to be able to like hold your story in this way
Mm-hmm.
and like and get to add some thoughts and perspective to how it could be different in this capacity or something, right?
Yeah.
And also like I'm not attached to anything, so if you're like, yeah girl, no, then like work, I think people like, there are some people who are really attached to shit that like that is just like not my gig. Like I like John literally could have said fuck you bitch for having this feedback, and I've been like work,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like
Okay. How much
okay,
say?
girl, like at the full, girl, at the full, like
At the full girl. Yeah.
but but I trust John. John trusts me, and so I think it was it was a beautiful experience. I was happy to do it. I love reading. Reading is fundamental to me in my life. So I really enjoy being able to sit at my laptop and read it, every night, and just and like, it also posed questions to me, right? Like reading the book isn't just about understanding John's life. It's also saying, oh, how have I been shaped by media in my life, right? Who people that I've seen in my life, right? Like some people that John wrote about, I absolutely connect with, and some I did not. So I was like, oh, how like when let me think about what are people that helped me tell my story in life, and I think
Mhm.
in the how doing your ace, your sis, inspired me creatively. I mean, I I think like I'm always in awe of you. I'm in awe of your hustle. It's a hustle that I know the hustle wears you down.
And it's expensive, but go off.
Exhausting and expensive. The two E's, exhausting and expensive. But like
My
and like
God.
I'm always in awe of you. I think it definitely pushed me to be more creative in my own ways, right? I've been
Mhm.
doing more video work. I've been doing,
Yes.
I know that I like and I want to do stuff that focuses on being a fat person in the world. And so, reading this was like not only do I want to tell my own story? But also, like, to your point, I want to be a person that, like, I want to be source material for somebody. You know, like,
Mhm.
this book is source material. This book is going to be referenced. I'm a manifest this referenced and syllabized, like, you know,
Mm.
reference in 20 years, like, I like as source material for other books or other you know people who speak on things. Like, with the stuff that I do creatively, I want to be that as well too. I want to be a source person,
Mhm.
a source material for people to read, to pull on and say, oh, Joho did XYZ, like in the name of fat liberation, then in the name of black liberation,
Yeah.
in the name of queer liberation. You know, like, that's so I feel so pushed to do that, by reading this book, and I feel pushed to understand also my history, whether it's
Mm.
my history of who I am, or the history of people who came before me, so much
Yeah.
more. So yeah, it was a gift to read the book before all you hoes. It was a gift. It was a gift to really get to understand you in a new dimension, right? Because I also get to learn about John this new way too, and that's really special to learn about. When you can always learn about your friends, you know, like, I've done John for a decade now, right? To know that I can learn more about them each time is such a special gift.
Yeah.
Like, I never want to say, oh, I know everything that there's no about this person. I want to be like, oh, I'm always learning something about them in new ways. So that was such a gift, and I appreciate it. I treasure it so much, and I love it, and I love you so
Love you
much.
too.
They were a sister.
Yeah, you've been on my mind. Yes, yes.
Okay,
Thank you, thank
fam. Now
you.
that I've gone mushy, me and John gotta try and lock in this Netflix deal, okay, and
Amen.
get a show like Michelle Buteau, because
Yes.
that season is so good. Ooh, we have to, we gotta pay some bills and have some meetings. We'll be right back in just a sec.
All right, y'all. So this has been. We're getting ready to head into. So I'll go ahead and let everybody know we're going to do another segment of Go Love Yourself. Obviously, because my God, what a moment to be in.
Moment.
And I've been wanting to have this conversation for weeks, ever since we had Marcy on, and we were originally supposed to get into it with Marcy. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the episode, that's episode 142. We talked a lot about body image, but we never got to the actual question that one of the questions that I really wanted to like delve into. And so I'm like, now that we've talked about the book, and that honestly, this question that I'm going to pose has been one of the questions that I have gotten as I've been on my book tour and as I've been talking and doing a lot of press around the book. Someone asked me, you know, how are you loving on yourself in the age of Ozempic and
Mm,
Wegovy? And it kind of hit me because I was like, oh shit, I hadn't even thought about that. And so I was like, let me
mm,
bring that to the show. I would love for, especially because, obviously the book is centered around Black fat queerness and this
mm.
idea. And if you haven't had a chance to go to read the book, read the book.
Okay.
If you can, and I'll say this too, if you are a listener who cannot afford the book, hit me. I will send it to you.
Mm, mm.
I want to make sure that people, everybody who, and I'm not saying now, I'm not gonna say everybody hit me and say, oh,
Not
I'm poor, I
everybody,
can't
but
afford it. Mother's got to pay her bills too. But I do want to put that out there that if there is someone who really truly is in a place of like, I just genuinely do not have the money, I don't know when I'll have the money to buy this book. Hit me up. I can get you an audio book if you prefer, or I can get you a copy of the book. But just wanting to make sure that I can put that out there. And yes, I will be the one to send it to you personally. But anyway, all that to be said, wanting to get into this conversation around how are we loving ourselves in the age of Ozempic and Wegovy. And so honestly, I will say this, I haven't had much time or space to think or talk about it.
mm,
And honestly, it's really fucking hard, especially in the last couple of weeks. I'm about to be very transparent here. I've been dealing with a lot around my diabetes and trying to navigate it and handle it. It's very hard to be on the road as much as I am and to be
mhm,
moving as much as I am and to still be making decisions that remind me of like, girl, you still need to be really worried about your fucking health, right?
mhm,
And so it one, that's hard, but also like the world makes it very hard for you to love yourself as a fat person.
mhm.
um and then like you just see like this notion, a lot of people are like, well, why haven't you tried Ozempic, why haven't you tried Wegovy? Or you're seeing people
Nope.
make space and make room to justify their use of Wegovy or Ozempic, right? And
Mhm.
that getting into your head, and then this notion of like, well, why aren't you doing it too? Because that's kind of the energy I'm getting from people right now. It's like, well, you could be on Ozempic or Wegovy, and you're choosing not to. So why are you not doing it, right? And it's like, yes, I have the money, but I still got to get a doctor to say yes. I still don't know the long term impacts. I still have no idea how it's going to impact my body. Those are all the things that shit. Who even knows if it's going to even work for me, right? I could start jabbing myself with it and turn around and end up with more problems than what I did before I started taking it. So like it's just my point in saying all of this is like, it's like no matter how hard you fight to love yourself, there is always something or someone trying to capitalize off of your insecurities. And I think that's the thing I've been really having a hard time processing, in all of this, right? How am I loving myself is really what I've been asking myself a lot these days, and reminding myself that 90% of all crazes
Mm.
are focused on capitalizing on someone's body insecurity and offering them a red pill
Mm.
that we truly have no idea is going to how it's going to impact them later on down the line. And so I think for me, what I've been saying every time I think about this Ozempic and Wegovy trend, I always think to myself, I am stronger than my insecurities.
Mm.
So, what about you, my love?
I think I wanna be really mindful of people, like, there actually is, like people are selling you Band-Aids for something that is actually, like, has a deeper
Now,
issue.
well, let's
And,
well,
like, lovingly, y'all, no amount of Ozempic or Wegovy is going to
let's
change,
talk
a core
about
challenge you may have in your life, right? And I'm not saying that weight is a core challenge.
no.
What I'm saying is, if you're using that, do you have a if you're using that for not the purpose that it's used for, which is, like, to help manage diabetes for people or other health conditions, right? If you're using it to, like, just lose weight, that's not gonna solve actually, like, your image issues or body issue.
Mm,
Like,
mm,
lovingly, when you lose weight, you likely will not be like, "I'm such a skinny bitch and I'm good to go." Like, you're gonna actually still experience a lot of body dysmorphia still.
yeah,
I say that from experience. People in my life who have lost weight in a different way, they still experience body dysmorphia. You have to go to therapy. You have to, like, do other things to actually work through the challenges that you may have. Also, your health is between you and your doctor. If your doctor believes that's good for you, work. But if your doctor's like, girl, like, you actually can do other things, then, like, girl, do the things.
mhm,
It's like we're being offered a quote unquote like easy way out. I want to be clear, it's also not easy. Like, people experience a lot of gastrointestinal issues
sure
on
do.
this. People are legit, like,
Mhm,
shitting themselves. People are having, like, really intense, intense spikes in their blood sugar or blood pressure, right? The people who are having health conditions come out, months later from something. I'm not gonna tell you that it's bad for you because I'm not a doctor and I'm not the scientist running test. But there's a lot of questions about, is it good for you in the long run for these things, right? When people use it for what it's used for, yes, the studies show that it helps them immensely. When people use it for what it's not used for, aka like just for weight loss, and you're also here robbing people of, like, somewhat life saving medication that they could be using for their actual health conditions, is
yeah,
actually showing that it should not as good for your body. So, like, be mindful of that. Um, I also was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Like, also, like, it's not like you can't take it and then stop and then you're done. Like, you
that's
gotta
another
keep
part.
going. So, like,
Yep,
girl, think about what's sustainable in your life. That's naturally not gonna be a sustainable thing for you. It's easier in the moment to say, I'll take my shot and let it do the work for me. But, like, again, like, they're offering something that is gonna do the work for you, but you have to keep doing it for the rest of your life. You will never be able to
yeah,
stop it. And truthfully, you don't know what's
mhm,
gonna happen. And that's what I say. Half of you hoes was so up in arms about a COVID vaccine and cannot trust that at all. But the second
yep,
you said weight loss, girl,
yep.
girl,
I get to be
girl,
skinny, and it's so like,
like,
yes, yes. I not to cut you off, but I'm sitting here listening to you going, the links at which we as people go to for
for
vanity.
vanity, for vanity it is so wild. Like,
Mhm.
I just think we all want to look good and feel good in ourselves, but, like, well, I want to look good, but, like, you can feel good in yourself, and that's more important if you feel good in yourself. right?
Yeah.
It's just like we will go to extreme lengths to look like the youngest, most beautiful person in the room. And I like and I do get why, because that's how media has shaped our narratives in life.
Yeah.
But there's more to life than putting your body through harm in that way.
Being thin, honey.
Like
There's so
there's
much
more to
more to life.
life than that personally
Mhm.
for me. I think how I love myself in the age of Ozempic, right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of people whom I have looked up to for years who got on the
Was
Zempi
it
craze, the Govi
Mhm.
craze, and like, listen, live, laugh, love. I hope they are happy in themselves. I really am. I hope they experience much joy in their lives from this. But it is also sad to be like,
Mhm.
it's just like I think it's hard. I think also because like this is hard to say out loud, but like, is that really self care? Like, is that really self care, y'all? Like, if you want to change your body, girl, I'm happy for
Pew,
you.
pew, pew.
But like, but
Shots
like,
fired.
but like,
Mhm.
you this is a way, right? Like you weren't making changes to the things in your life. You just said,
Right.
let me get the
Let me
injectable.
lose some weight.
And
Yep.
that to me is like, is that really self-care, girl?
Mhm.
And so, like I likely would never take this. Unless it developed medical conditions, which my doctor was like, this would be good for you for medical reasons, right? Like
Mhm.
then I would probably consider that. But like I'm not gonna take it for the sake of losing weight.
Yeah.
And when I don't have any other like challenges in my body in that way, right? Like
Yeah.
and if I wanted to lose weight, I would do it in a different way.
Mhm.
Um, and so, and if I do great, if I don't, then great as well too. Like it's just, I don't like it's just so hard. And then also the people who do give Ozempic and Wegovy, they become fat phobic and it becomes wild. Like y'all like
And yeah, I think I saw
too much.
somebody say this years ago. They said you can't hate yourself into loving yourself. And I
Mhm,
think there's a lot of people who think that weight loss, yes, especially a lot of us big girls who have been treated poorly for our size for years, right? And I want to make this very clear that I'm not saying this as somebody who has always been fat. When and again, talk about it in the book. I went through these really insane weight things that I did in college to lose weight. And
mhm,
I lost a lot of weight and I saw how the world responded to me and I hated it. I hated how I felt so invisible until I lost the weight. And then I became even more visible when I put the weight back on because people were like, "Ooh, girl, you getting big again. Ooh, girl, ooh, and you're realizing you can't shop where you want to shop. And it's just it's stuff like that, right? And so it's just I think we're feeding into, and I say this with love, I'm putting my hand on people's shoulder. I
mhm,
think we're getting into a place where we're starting to recognize that, or at least I'm recognizing that a lot of us are not well. And I say this, like I said, say this with love. A lot of us are not well, and we're like you said earlier, band-aids. We're
mhm,
looking for stuff like Ozempic and Wegovy to fix a lot of the internal stuff that we need to be sitting down and processing with someone with a degree, in a journal, in a focus group, all of the things, right? On a pot again, I know people are like, we don't need another podcast. Maybe you do. Maybe having a
if you
podcast will help
do,
you process some of the things that you've been dealing with
if
in your
you
own life. And you
do.
don't know who it's going to touch, right? I really am in a place where I would caution anybody who, again, and this is not a jab at anyone who has used one of these products to lose weight. I listen to other influencers who do, and I love that journey for them. I'm cautioning that weight loss will not be the thing that fixes everything in your life. I just want to make that. I just that's the thing that's the hill I'm willing to die on. So,
Mm,
um,
mm.
all right. Well, anyway, now that we have no idea what Ozempic will do in the future, I do know what we have to do in order to secure our future, and that's pay Uncle Scam. So, with that
Okay.
being said, we have to take a break, and when we come back, we'll take a break and pay these bills. And when we get back, we're going to get back with your favorite segment, Yes, Ma'am, and No, Ma'am, Pam. More to say. Okay, y'all. We are back, and we are going to close the show like we always do with our Yes Ma'am and our No Mam Pam segment. This is where we either give people flowers or we throw them at them. And I feel like this week we've got a lot of flowers to hit people with. So I'm just going to quickly say this. My Yes Ma'am this week is kind of an ode to this episode. I want to thank everybody who has either left a review or has said, I'm going to leave a review when I finish the book somewhere for my book. I don't know if you all know. I think folks don't fully understand the scope of why reviews are so important. Reviews tell not only the publisher, but it also tells the public why these books are important and why topics like my book need to be in spaces that they are. So if you have not headed over to Goodreads, please do. If you haven't left a review at Barnes and Noble, please do. Amazon, I'm not telling nobody what to do over there. But I will say this: anywhere that you can see my book, whether it be a independent publisher, whether it be a big name publisher, please leave a review. Those reviews mean everything. And even if you read the book and you're like, "This is trash," feel free to say it's trash. It will help me. It'll help me on my next book venture, right? It'll help me become a better writer. It'll whatever feedback you give. Now, if you're just like, if you're what I like to call it, if you're like a Trumper, or if you're somebody who's like, oh, I'm just gonna be an asshole because I don't like John and blah blah blah. Okay, girl, I will literally eat the meat and spit out the bone on that one. But when it comes down to like me truly wanting to hear folks who have been impacted by this book, whether positively or not, I would love for you to leave a review. So that's that on that. I quickly want to get through this story, but it has some layers. So I simply just want to say, for my No Man Pam this week, I would like to say, oh God, period. Fuck the guy who sat in front of me on my flight to Portland, and I'm gonna tell you the story and why. Did I break this down to you already
Not yet.
about what happened to
No.
me?
No.
Okay. So Sunday I left for Portland, right? We're filming this. We're not filming this. We're recording this a couple of days prior to me leaving to New York because I won't be able to record this week. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, Sunday left for Portland. Get on my flight. Get situated in my seat. All things are good. My seatmate was working on his work. I was trying to work on my work, and I'm sitting in my chair and I have my iPad out. So I just bought an iPad Pro keyboard because I was finding myself not like taking out my laptop, especially when flying. It's just such a pain in the ass. It really is. And so I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm just going to pull on my iPad. So I have my iPad. I'm working. And the man who sits in front of me just throws his seat back. No care in the world. Literally, just pushes the button, throws his seat back.
Girl.
So my iPad starts to close. So I finagle my seat and I move my tray and I try to reinstitute my iPad again. I'm working. Mind you, this is only a 2-hour flight. He gets up and goes to the bathroom, comes back from the bathroom, throws his seat back again. And I said, okay. So I normally don't do this, but on this occasion, I did this. I tapped him and I said, excuse me, sir. I said, I understand you're trying to get comfortable in your seat. I said, hey, I have my iPad open and you keep throwing your seat back and it is closing my iPad, right? What? And yes, he was. For everybody who's listened to the story, yes, he was. What? And I said, you keep throwing your seat back and it is closing my iPad. Can you not throw your seat back? Who are you to tell me what I can and can't do with my seat? And I said, that's not what I'm asking you to do, sir. I'm just asking you, like, when I get my seat and I push the button for it to go back, I do it slowly. Or I look behind me to make sure that the person behind me doesn't have any drink. Because mind you, the other part of what pissed me off so much was he's throwing his seat back while I have a soda next to my iPad.
Yeah, girl.
So if you throw your seat back and then knock my drink off of my table onto my iPad, then I'm fucked, right? So I'm asking you politely just to be careful about how you're putting your seat back. I don't care how far you put it back. Just be careful. So it becomes an argument. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. And I said, look, sir, this conversation is over. Look, this conversation is over. I said what I said.
Okay.
If you do it again, we're going to have a problem, right? So this is not where the story ends.
Oh,
So I
no.
put my AirPods back in my ear and I continue to type on my iPad because I got shit to do. This man stands up when the plane lands and looks at me and like huffs like he's about. I said, "Oh," I said, "So you want?" So and that's literally how I said. I said, "Oh, so you want to meet me outside the airport then?" I said, so "That's what this is, right?" I said, "So now you're turning this into you needing to meet me outside of Portland Airport." And everybody on the plane is looking around like, "Ooh."
Smoke.
I said, "Baby," I said, "Don't let these nails fool you." I said, "Don't let these nails fool
You don't
you.
want that smoke, I
You don't want it.
promise.
You don't want it because you can get it."
No.
And the thing is if you know this about me, and Joho, you know this, man, I never get buck with people for no reason.
Mhm, mhm.
I am one of the kindest, nicest, most intentional. I'm always demure in most moments.
Truly,
I'm
truly.
very demure because I'm always thinking about, okay, well, what's the repercussion of this going to be? It's going
Mhm.
to impact this. It's going to impact this. But in this moment, all that shit went out the window. I was ready to squabble. So he grabbed his bag and rushed off the airplane. I said, exactly. That's what I thought. So to that man, I don't know who you are. Fuck you. And I hope you had the day and the week you deserve. Joho, what are yours?
I am screaming. That is just baby, nuck if you buck, but if you but if it like if you nucking out buck back and you get scared, girl,
You
what
made
we doing
yourself look like
here?
a clown.
You wanna be a rowdy body bitch? Let me ride by my bitch. Girl.
Let's meet at deck one
I'm
in front of the lift station.
Terminal 3, let's go.
Hello,
I'll see you at the train station, girl. The bus is not running. I will get you.
I will.
Ooh,
We
girl,
can meet in downtown Portland to finish this conversation if
I
you want.
cannot. I cannot. Ooh. Okay. So my yes ma'am ham is gonna be just to um Michelle Buteau's second season of Survival of the Thickest.
I really need to get into it.
It's so I think this season's so good. Like it just came in really strong. The storylines are amazing. I really like the two queer storylines. I love that they brought one of the actors from Harlem into the show, which I love. Like it's just such a queer. It's like really queer in the best way. Um, like I mean, I Michelle Buteau is fun to watch on screen. Everyone's fun to watch. It's a great season. I'm really just like so happy with it. Like I think it's really
Mhm.
fantastic. So good. Great representation. Great like themes, right? Themes of like queer love, loving yourself at an older age, love yourself in a bigger body, just like amazing shit. And I just love to see it. It's just so good. So yes, ma'am, ham to you, Michelle Buteau.
Amen.
One day you'll be on our show, and I really can't wait for that day. That's gonna be amazing. And then no,
Mm.
ma'am, Pam. As I was saying earlier, y'all, there is insert online retailer here that provides furniture, one could say, and
Wait, hold on. Pause. Are they online and also in store?
no,
Is it?
they are just online,
They're just online.
just
Okay, so
online,
it's not who I thought it
online
was
only.
initially IKEA.
No, because IKEA makes sense. Like they have
Okay,
instructions, but they're very straightforward, and I understand. Like they're like, it's annoying sometimes. Yes, like I can build an IKEA shift, like that's right. Like it makes sense to me. They're very, I think, gracious with their drawings and what you have. Some places are not. Some places they're beautiful and cheap, but
right.
they have like 75 pieces,
Okay.
and it says do this in 13 steps, and 2 hours later you're still on step 3. It should not take this long to put together a nightstand. It's truly maybe 7 pieces of wood together. Why do I need to insert all the also,
Mm.
to me, I got dowels, I got bolts, I got nuts, I got screws. Why do you have all these things in one thing?
Why are
Just
they
give me one or the other. Give me
right,
a dowel and a
right,
screw. Also,
right.
one of the things I put together, it was like don't tighten the bolts and screws until the end. So you want me to have just a wobbly ass desk, bitch, until the very end? I said, nah, fuck that. I'm doing this shit now. And guess what? It turned out right. It turned out great. Also, it said don't use power tools. You think I would have done this by hand?
Right, girl.
Because I tried the first hour. I said, let me try this by hand. Then I said, how the
Oh, so am I Bobby Shoulda Builder now?
I'm saying,
Bobby Shoulda
bitch,
Builder.
in what
Yes,
world,
we
bitch, in
can.
what world am I doing this? This is crazy. Like, what the hell do you mean, bitch? Girl,
What do
no.
you mean,
What do you
bitch?
mean, bitch? What the, it was crazy. I was like, what the hell? So
Oh,
y'all had me fucked up in the worst way to be here talking about I need to now use power tools. Girl, I used a drill and that shit was done in 30 minutes. But
amen.
just like just try like and then it's like you need this many people and this many things. Also, don't I hate it. I hate it.
I'm right there with you. I have a shoe rack that I need to have put together. Y'all can't see it, but to the side of me, I have a walk-in closet on my first floor,
Okay.
and it has nothing but shoes in it. And it's just the shoes are strewn about. I've cleaned it up substantially. I actually got rid of quite a few pair of shoes as well. I donated
Okay.
them. But I still need to get the shoe rack done, and I have not had the time. And there's been part of me that has wanted to open the box and just do it myself. But then I keep looking at these nails and how expensive they are and thinking about how expensive they are. And I
Mm.
just keep going. When I get back from New York, I swear I'm going to have somebody come and finish it. So I understand the struggle because that brand has a habit of sending very complex stuff to you and then being like, "Oh, are you sure you don't want to hire a builder?" No, you know I need one. And
Okay.
that's why you keep doing what you're doing because it's all I hate capitalism. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, but anyway, I'm glad. Was it for your bedroom or was it for your roommate's bedroom?
It was for friends.
For a friend.
Yes, it
Okay.
was for a dear friend,
Oh, goodness. And how long did it take?
whom I love very
2
much.
hours?
Um, I think it took us waste I think it took us 4 hours.
Oh, my god. And it's a bedroom stand?
It was 2 nightstands,
I
2
ain't no
4-foot nightstands
nope.
and a corner desk.
Nope. Absolutely not. Yeah, you definitely should
If
have.
they ever hear this episode, they know that I'll do it again for them because I love them
Right.
so
Right.
much.
And I love that journey for
And next
you
time,
and for
baby,
them.
I will call a TaskRabbit for us.
That's what I
We
was
can
just
just
gonna say.
watch.
At a task rabbit that shit. Oh my god. Well, anyway, y'all, this has been one of the most I swear to God, we have been on every single plane in this episode. So thank you for
Truly.
continuing. If you made it this far, my God bless you. You are a true hero in my heart because this episode has been we have been all over the place. But I love it. And again, I love you, Joho. And just
I love you
I
so
say this to
much.
say thank you for always being in my corner. You have been my day one since day one. And I genuinely will, like you said, there's no there and the gag is this too. Like in our 10 years of friendship, I have never been made to feel like sometimes in your friendships you're like, I don't know, this person's moving funny, this person makes me feel.
Yeah.
Never felt that, and I genuinely want you to know that I will always have your back as much as you have mine. So
Mm.
um you know to more greatness and to 4 more years of a show because we just hit what this is what we're going in year 3. Is
Year
this year
4, this
4?
is year 4, baby. Yep.
Year 4 of us being together as a team, and then year 3 of the pod being on the air. So it has been just a blast to be able to do a show with somebody that you love. And yeah, I feel like I've kind of beat that horse as much as I could. So with that being said, please send us your thoughts, feedback, and email to blackfatfemmepod@gmail.com. You can also send us your thoughts via social media by interacting with our post on Instagram and Twitter by using the handle blackfatfempod. I will also say this: if you email us with thoughts about Ozempic and Wegovy, make sure they're your own processed thoughts.
I'm
Do
not
not
I'm not your therapist today, baby girl.
Yeah,
Just
baby, make sure they're processed. Also, I'm not gonna
think
argue with
before you
you in
press
the email.
send.
Uh-huh.
Give
I'm
yourself
not gonna
24
argue with
hours.
We
Okay.
are not arguing with you in the email. We're not our email is not a place for us to go back and forth with your thoughts about something that is personal to us. So if you have a personal story you want to share with us about how that conversation impacted you, please come on down, share with us. But the one thing I don't want in the email is y'all did I'm you we'll go for this. Okay. Okay. Thank you, baby. I will say thank you for sending, and that'll be as much as you'll get. No shade. That's just what it is. All right, Queen Joho, where can dolls find you?
As you can every week, my loves, you can find me at Joho Daniels across all socials or my website, Jordan. Oh, girl, I can't even say my damn name. JordanDaniels.com. Who's
Too early.
a bitch to get through? My God. If not there, you will find me in bed. You will find me in bed, girl.
Oh,
I
my
am
God.
not leaving my bed. I'm gonna be
Oh.
canceling all plans. I may say this is rest week for me.
I wish.
Please do not invite me out, y'all. I ain't
Mm-mm.
trying to do nothing.
Please,
Try
my
to keep
God.
my ass home, girl.
I
Ooh.
absolutely wish.
Mm.
As for me and mine, you will find me 3 hours ahead Eastern Standard Time. You will also find me trying to find peace in these next couple of weeks, which is it's just so much going on. And I say this with just like both personally and professionally. It's like nothing super bad is happening, right? I'm very
Mm.
grateful for where I am, but it is so hard to be a one person handling everything. So I'm gonna put this call out. Um, I'm gonna say this. I would love a little bit of help with this tour. If you are somebody who just needs a little bit of change and would like to help me, please email me. But please know, I it is so hard to find good help.
Mm.
Please be serious. Like only serious inquiries, please, if you are interested in helping me with this tour. I'm gonna say it one more time. Only serious
Angry.
inquiries. Only serious inquiry. I'm 2 seconds away from titling this episode Only Serious Inquiries. But
Stop.
we are not going to. But I say that to say that if somebody is serious about wanting to help me, please inquire if you are serious. All right. Are we done, Joho? We done?
Girl,
Okay.
wrap this shit up, bitch. We got
Let's
things
wrap
to do.
with the bow, girl. We got to go. All right, y'all. We want to thank our producer, Bay Wang, for always handling all the logistics and everyone over at iHeartMedia for keeping the show up and running and supporting us through and through. We would like to shout out our wonderful editor, Chris Rogers, because without him, we would have no audio or visuals for Down to the Tubes of You. Chris, you are a gem. We love you deep. This has been another show. Stay black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember what, Joho?
We may not be your cup of tea, but girl, drink some water. Your dry ass probably needs it anyways, bitch.
Amen. Amen. The weather is dry. Your elbows are ashy. Your knees, baby, look like you've been praying.
You need some lotion.
Yeah, it looks like you've been,
Water.
yes, just you need a lot of it all, honey. We love you for real.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Not bye, y'all. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.